I think this deal actually won't achieve that aim, but luckily it won't really matter because other moves by countries, including Japan, the US, the EU, and various EU member states, are busy subsidizing the semiconductor sector. So there will be a gradual move away from reliance on Taiwan. The problem with this pact between the UK and Japan is it doesn't seem like it's very well funded. So compared to these other initiatives going on, it's really not going to have much of an impact.
Let's talk about that. The numbers that are being floated around is £1 billion of government spending of the medium term in the UK. Let's just compare that to the US CHIPS Act, which involves 52 billion worth of subsidies, and the European CHIPS Act, which involves 43 billion worth of subsidies. 1 billion just really doesn't sound like it's going to cut it.
Right. I mean, and that's to be clear, the UK's own CHIP Act, outside of any sort of cooperation with Japan. But you're right. I mean, £1 billion doesn't really amount to much in the semiconductor industry. Even if the UK focuses on advanced packaging, which is one of their aims, it's probably going to require a lot more money than that. And I imagine once the full details of where the money in the US is going, we will see at least several times that going into advanced packaging.
Douglas, I want to come back to your initial comments around the outsized significance of what the U.S. and the EU are doing compared to this bilateral agreement between Japan and the U.K. So how exactly will it work for the U.K.? Is your implication or your suggestion that the U.K. will get its chips from the EU and the U.S. in the future, and that's where it's going to matter?
Right. I mean, it will mean that in the future, there will be these other supply sources other than Taiwan. That doesn't mean, though, in the short to medium term that, if Taiwan were to be invaded or somehow impacted in terms of its chip production, the UK wouldn't suffer. The whole global economy would suffer because even in the medium term, there's still going to be an awful lot of production of advanced chips done in Taiwan.